Tashle. So today in this class we are going to discuss about class 12 geography part 1. So in class 12 geography we have two books, part 1 and part 2. So from part 1 here I am going to teach you about chapter number 8. So name of the chapter is transport and communication. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about two main topics, transport and communication. So if we look at this chapter, most of the topics that we are going to learn in this chapter is related with transport. And at the last, we are going to learn a little bit about communication. So first thing is we need to know the meaning of transport. So what is meant by transport? So transport is a facility or a service. So if we say transport as a facility or service, so if we look at the images here, if we look at the first image, in order to carry goods and passengers from one place to another places, we need airplanes and airport. We need vehicles like buses and road. We need locomotive trains and railway tracks. We need seaports, and we also need ships in order to uh, carry goods and passengers. Likewise, we need pipelines. So usually pipelines are mostly used for transporting liquid and gaseous type of materials from one place to another place. So all these are the facilities, all these are the services. With help of these facilities, we can carry or transport goods and people from one place to another place. So that is called transport. So next we are going to learn about the means and mode of transport. So in this chapter, the main theme of the chapter is about the means and modes of transport that we are going to learn one by one. So if you look at the first one, we are going to learn about land transport. So in land transport, we have three types: roadways, railways, and pipelines. And if we look at the second one, water transport, it is further divided into two: inland waterways and ocean waterway. And lastly, we are going to learn about air transport. So this is the main theme of the chapter. So from this chapter, we are going to learn about land and water transport one by one. So next to that, we need to know what is meant by transport network. So if we say transport network means several places or nodes. So if we say nodes, here means towns and cities of the world. So towns and cities of the world are joined or linked together by a series of routes. So here route, we can say railways and roadways are called route. So to form a pattern we can say, or a connectivity or a network, so that is called transport network. So if we look at the image of India, this is the railway map of India. If we look at this map, we have dotted one, so these are called nodes. Cities like Delhi, Delhi, Lucknow, all these are this Srinagar, all these are nodes, we can say node. And all the lines are called routes. So all these lines represent what? Railways in India. So these nodes are linked by railways. So it will give a pattern or a network or a connectivity. So that is called transport network. So if we talk about geography, in cartography, in GIS, we are using three data. So they are point, line, and area. So these are the three main data that we are using in geography or in GIS in order to make maps. So in order to make maps, this one. So if we talk about India's boundaries, all these boundaries are made up of areas or polygons. And if we talk about lines here, railways, all these are made up of lines with different colors. And if we talk about the dot, these represent cities. So in GIS we are using these three main data in order to make maps. So this is about transport networks. Transport network means several. So generally most of the railways and roadways are constructed in order to link towns and cities of the world. And if we if we link towns and cities by different roadways and railways, it will give a connectivities. All the cities and towns in India are connected to one another by railways or roadways. So it will give a pattern or connectivity that is called transport network, or this one we can say transport connectivity. We can also say like this. So this is about transport network. Next, we are going to learn about traffic flow. So what is meant by traffic flow? So traffic flow means movement of vehicles on a particular road. So if we look at image 1 and image 2, these are the two different roads, two particular roads. So road 1 and road 2. So if we look at these two images, we can see number of vehicle is different. If you look at the first image, we have more number of vehicles on a road, and if we look at the second image, we have very less number of vehicles on a road. So that is called traffic flow. Traffic flow means movement of vehicle on a particular road. So if we have more number of vehicles on the road, means we have more traffic flow. If you have less number of um, movement of vehicles on a particular road, means we can say less traffic flow. So this is about traffic flow, meaning of traffic flow. So traffic on road has increased rapidly in recent years. So that means the traffic problems, so number of vehicles on a road has increased in a recent year. That means from 1990s or 2000 onwards, the number of vehicles on the road has increased in a very rapid manner. So traffic on the road had increased in a rapid manner. How this traffic rapid increase means, in the world number of roads remains same, but there is a huge increase in number of vehicles on the road. So it ultimately lead to traffic problems in towns and cities of the world. That we can also say in another word, there is an unprecedented or unparalleled increase in number of vehicle on the road and increase in number of roads in the world. So there is a high increase, large increase, huge increase in number of vehicles on the road, and there is a less development of roadways in the world. Because of that, it lead to traffic problems in the world. So in the mostly the traffic problems are mostly facing in towns and cities of the world. So city roads suffer from chronic or unending traffic congestion. So mostly in developing countries, they are facing traffic related problems because of more number of vehicles and less road development. So the traffic in a day is not facing throughout the day. The traffic in a particular city or town, they are facing in a specific time. So they are divided into two. So peak hour or high point or rush hour. So we can say, if we look at this image, we have a clock. So in that clock, we have a dark shaded one, so light dark shaded one. So this particular time from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., that period, that time in a day is, we can call as a high point or rush hour. Why? Means because during that time maximum number of people are, the maximum number of vehicles are on the road. Why? Means most of people are moving from their houses or home to the offices or workplaces, and many people are moving from during that time they're moving to schools and colleges. Because of that, we have maximum number of vehicles on the road. Because of that, these time these time are, we can call it as a high point or a rush hour. And again, if we say low point, means from 11 to 4 p.m. From 11 to 4 p.m. From 11 to 4 p.m. we have less number of vehicles on the road. Why? Means most of people are settled in the office, and students are settled in the schools and colleges. So that means less number of movement of people and vehicle on the road. Because of that, these periods are called trough or low point of traffic flow. Again, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. we can say as a high point or rush hour period. Why? Means during that time most of people are coming back to their respective homes from offices, schools and colleges. So that period is called again called high point or rush hour period. So this is about traffic flow. So in order to minimize the traffic related problems in the world, we have some remedies, mostly in the urban areas of the world. Urban transport solutions or remedies for traffic congestion. So flowing are the four main solutions or remedies in order to minimize the traffic problems in towns and cities of the world. So the first solution is about higher parking fees. So if we look at image 3, this is a parking place. So we have to charge higher parking fees for private vehicles. So if you look at this particular parking place, we have a large number of vehicles in here. So most of these vehicles belongs to our private peoples, and most of these vehicles are private vehicles. So we have to charge higher parking fees, or we have to make higher parking fees for these private vehicles. So if we make higher parking fees for private vehicles, means it will ultimately the private people, these people may think their expenses. So few people, they will instead of going by their own vehicle, they will go by the private this public transport system. They will move by public transport system. That means it will lead to and decrease in number of road vehicles on the road. That means we have to make higher parking fees for mostly for private vehicles in order to discourage them to drive private vehicles during peak and rush hour. Next is we have to make mass rapid transit, or we can say mass rapid transport systems like Delhi Metro. So mass means many. So if you look at image 5, this is one metro station in Delhi. So this particular metro station, if you look at the image, thousands of people are gathered here waiting for the train in a queue. They are waiting for a metro train in Delhi. So that means large in Delhi metro, this particular metro can move large number of people in a one trip. So that is called mass. Rapid means very fast. Transit means we can say one place to another place, or we can say from one station to another station. So this is the mass rapid transit. Means if Delhi, for example, Delhi metro, it is capable for carrying thousands of people on one go and in a very rapid manner from one station to another station. And in every station we have different entry and exit point in different directions. So that is the idea of mass rapid transit in order to minimize the traffic problems in metropolitan cities of the world. Mass rapid transit system. Next, third one, we need to improve the public bus services. So public bus services means we have to improve the public bus services such as cleanliness of the buses. We have regular interval of the buses and other site amenities. We have to improve public bus services. So if we improve these public bus services, means it will encourage people to move in public transport systems, and it will ultimately minimize a number of private vehicles on the road. And the fourth one is we need to make expressways. So if you look at image 4, this is an expressway. In this particular road we can drive a vehicle without any much obstacles. Why? Means in this road we have uh, this one different characteristics. Like this road we have more number of flyovers, bridges, and we have subways. This is image number 1 represents subways. So we have to make more expressways with more flyovers, bridges and subways in order to minimize the traffic related problems in towns and cities or urban areas of the world. So these are the 4 remedies suggested by different scholars in order to minimize the traffic related problems mostly in towns and cities of the world. So this is the type of expressway. We have lots of bridges, flyovers. So if a particular vehicle is moving on a particular road, means this particular uh, movement of that particular vehicle will not obstruct the movement of other vehicles. So such roads we need to construct it in mostly in towns and cities in order to minimize, in order to elevate the traffic related problems in towns and cities of the world. So as I already told you that from this chapter we are mostly we are going to learn about means and mode of transport one by one. So from means and mode of transport, first we are going to learn about the land transport. So from land transport, first thing is we are going to learn about the highways. So we have different types of roads, like roadways. We have different types roads such as highways, state road, border road, village road. So we have different types of road. So in this chapter we are not going to learn about other roads, other types of road. We are going to learn about two types of road here: highways and border road. So first thing that we are going to learn here from land transport is highways. So what is meant by highways? Highways are the metalled road, concrete. So those road which are constructed with tars and cements, these are called metalled road or pakka road. So these image shows kacha road, unmetalled road. So all the highways in the world are of what type means metalled road, and these roads are mainly for connecting far away places or distance place. So these type of roads are called highways. So in this chapter we are going to learn, first we are going to learn about the highway. So we know that we have different types of road, right? Highways, village road, border road, and this one state highways. We have different, but here we are going to learn about highways only. So as compared to other types of road, what are the special features or characteristics of or the importances of highways in the world? So as compared to village road or border road, highways are unobstructed vehicle movement for long distance. So if we talk about this highway, these are the highways. So these these highways have unobstructed vehicle movement for long distance. Unobstructed means there is not much traffic. There is not much traffic in this road. We have more flyovers, subway bridges, so we can move a particular, or we can drive a particular vehicle with the maximum number of speed in order to cover up a long distance. So that is called unobstructed vehicular movement. Because of this road we have more flyovers and subway bridges, and this road we have 80-meter width meters in width with separate traffic length. So if you look at this image, from here to here we have 80-meter width, 80-meter width with separate traffic lengths. So here the vehicles are moving from opposite direction. These vehicles are coming down and these vehicles are moving on opposite direction. So if you look at these vehicles, this is first lane, this is second lane. This yellow line shows lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4, lane 5, lane 6. Likewise, we here also we have lane 6. So all these vehicles are moving, coming down, and all these vehicles are moving on opposite direction. So that means it has 80-meter width, 80-meter width from here to here, and with separate traffic lanes. And these types of road we have more bridges and more flyovers and subways in order to have a unobstructed vehicular movement for long distance. And these types of road we have a dual carriage system. So if you look at dual carriage means here six vehicles on a row can move down, and on a different lane can move down, and here again six vehicle on a different lane, they will move upward on a opposite direction. And here we have separate traffic lane. So here I have made one blue line. So this particular line shows a divider. So this particular divider divides the vehicle moving on an opposite direction. So these are the some characteristics or features of highways as compared to other types of road. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about some of the important highways of the world. So first highway that we are going to learn is Trans-Canadian Highway. That particular highway links, so here, Victoria, Vancouver to Saint John City. So this particular red line shows Trans-Canadian Highway. So this particular highway, Trans-Canadian Highway, connect Vancouver, west coast of Canada, to Saint John City as east coast of Canada. So this is one important highway in Northern America. Next, so this is the map this is the map of Trans-Canadian Highway in North America. So if we say North America, means we have mainly three big countries: Canada, United States, and Mexico. So this particular red line shows Trans-Canadian Highway in Canada. Next important highway in America is the Pan-American Highway. So what is meant by Pan-America? So Pan means we can say whole or all. America means whole of America. So this particular roadway that connects North Latin America or Central America with South American countries. So this particular roadway links whole of America. Because of that, this is called Pan-American Highway. So this particular highway connects South America, Central America, USA, and Canada. Because of that, this is called Pan-American Highway. Next, in Australia, next highway that we are going to learn is from Australia. So in Australia, we have one important highway. So the name of the highway is called Trans-continental Highway. So this particular highway connects Darwin at the north and Melbourne at the south. So these are some of the in-between or intermediate stations of these two terminal stations. Two terminal station means Darwin and Melbourne are terminal or end stations. So in our textbook, they have mentioned Tennant Creeks and Alice Springs. So these are the Tennant Creeks is here, one important city, places or station, and Alice Spring, another important intermediate station. So this is about the Trans-continental Highway in Australia. So next, if we move to Russia, if we talk about Russia, we have dense highway network is developed in industrial region of west of Ural Mountains. So if we look at here we have a dark blue line. So this particular line indicates a mountain range. So the name of the mountain range is called Ural Mountain. So this particular Ural Mountain divide Russia into two parts: Moscow, Western European Russia with Siberian Russia. So in Russia, most of the highways are developed in west of Ural Mountain. This region we have more number of or more density of highways as compared to Siberian Russia. So here Moscow is the hub. Hub means most of the highways or roadways are connected to Moscow in west of Ural Mountain. So if we talk about Russia, we have one important highway. So the name of the highway is called Moscow-Vladivostok Highway. Moscow-Vladivostok Highway. So this is Moscow and this is Vladivostok. So these are the two important terminal or end stations of this particular highway. So we already studied about the highway. From roadways we discuss about the highways. So we already discussed the meaning of highways, characteristics of highway, and some of the important highways of the world. So the next type of road that we are going to learn a little bit about is border road. So what is mean by border road? So those roads which are along the international boundaries are called border road. So if we talk about India, we can say land to land boundary. India shared with land to land boundary with Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, and Myanmar, Bangladesh. So along these international boundaries, we have roadways. So all these roadways are called border road. So these border road in India we have one organization. So the name of the organization is called Border Road Organization. This particular organization is responsible for constructing the roadways, border roads in India, roadways along the border regions of India. So during winter time, we can say Border Road Organization is responsible for clearing the snows on border roads in order to have a in order to uh, make these snow covered road into a motorable one. And what is the importances? Next is what is the importances or significances of border road? Means it is uniting or integrating the role of people, those people who are living near the border region with major towns and cities of that particular area. So this is about the border road. So next we are going to learn about railways. So in the world, the first railway of the world that started in 1825 in England. So this map shows England, a particular red line shows England in 1925. The first train in the world started in 1825 in northern England between two cities in England, Stockton to Darlington. Stockton to Darlington. So this particular arrow shows Stockton to Darlington in northern England. So types of railway gauges or tracks. So if we look at this image, we have a railway track. So this is called width of the railway track, or we can say railway gauge. So in the world, we have four main types of railway tracks or gauges, width of the tracks. So we have broad gauge, that is 1.5 meter. In between these two we have 1.5 meter. Standard means in this the width of this railway track is between 1.44 meter, and meter gauge means 1 meter, width is 1 meter, and other smaller gauges in the world we have. These are the different types of railway gauges in the world. But if we talk about England, United Kingdom, in UK, United Kingdoms means these UK, we have different kingdoms, right? Kingdom, state, countries. So in UK, all the railway tracks are standard. That means 1.44. If we talk about India, we have three types of railway gauges, right? Broad, meter, and narrow gauge. But in UK, all the railway tracks are in same width. That is standard gauge. So in roadways, we learned about the highways. Same as in railways, we are going to learn about transcontinental railways. Same as highways. So what is meant by transcontinental railways? So transcontinental railways means so those railway line that connects the two endpoint of a particular continent or a country. It is called transcontinental railways. So if we look at this image, this is the map of Australia, political map of Australia. So this particular railway red line shows a railway line in Australia. So that particular railway line, two end of Australia, end point of Australia, one end point of Australia to another end point. So such type of long distance covering railway lines in the world are called transcontinental railway. So these railway lines, they are moving one end point of a continent to another end point of a continent. So in this chapter again we are going to learn about some of the important long distance covering railways. So these railway lines are called, or services are called, transcontinental railways. So first we are going to learn about the Trans-Siberian railway line. So it connects Western European Russia with Siberia. So we already know that. So this is the map of Trans-Siberian railway line. So this particular mountain range divides the Russia into two parts, right? European Russia with Siberian Russia. So this particular railway line connects European Russia with Siberian Russia. Railway route of Russia. That particular railway line runs from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok while passing through many in-between stations. So in the map we can see this. So this particular railway line runs from St. Petersburg west to Vladivostok at east. So these are called two terminal stations or end stations. So these are two end stations. So in between stations such as Moscow, Chita, these are the in between stations. Next, this railway line is the longest railway line. So which is the longest railway line in the world? Means Trans-Siberian is the longest railway line in the world, and total kilometer length of this railway line is called 9,332 kilometer, and it has a double tracked and electrified transcontinental railway line in the world. So this is the double track. One railway moving upward means one railway will come down to and move to an opposite direction and electrified. So this is electrified, this is electrical, this one engine. So we have three types of engine railway: steam or diesel engine, steam and diesel engine, and electric engine. So these are called electric engine. So this particular Trans-Siberian railway line is a longest railway line with double track and electrified train. This type of facility, electricity, we have in this railway line we can run electric engine railways also. So the main objective of building this transcontinental railway line, initially it's mainly for political reason, in order to unify Soviet Russia with European Russia. But nowadays they are mostly used for economic purpose, for transport of goods, raw materials from one place to another places. So main types of goods that are transported through with help of these railway lines are machinery goods, industrial products, coal, woods, petroleum, and other agricultural related products from east to west Russia. So east and west Russia is divided by a mountain range that is called Ural Mountain, right? So this is about the Trans-Siberian railway line. Next, Trans-Canadian Pacific railway line. So it runs from Halifax in the east, Halifax in the east, Halifax in the east. So this is Halifax, and Vancouver at the south. So these are called two end stations or terminal station of this particular railway line. The total length of this railway line is 7,050 kilometer from Vancouver to Halifax. Initially, again, this is made for political reason, to unite the east and west Canada. But nowadays they are mostly using this railway line for economic purpose, transport of goods, raw material from one place to another places. And again, one of the significances of this railway line is it connect the Quebec Montreal industrial region. So here I have made one this one circle. So in between we have Quebec and Montreal. So here in, if we talk about Canada, most of the industries are located in this region, so that is called industrial region. So this particular railway line connect this industrial region. So here they are, this particular railway line helps to move the raw materials and industrial goods from one place to another place. So what type of goods they are transporting means wheat, meat are important export. They are exporting from one place to another places. So this railway line is longest in North America and in Canada. Next, Australian Transcontinental Railway Line. So this particular railway line moved from Perth on the west, Perth on the west, Perth on the west. So this is Perth on the west and Sydney at the east. So these are called two terminal or end stations of this particular railway line. So this railway line is longest railway line in Australia. So in between stations such as Calgary, Forest, Port Augusta, Broken Hills, and these are the some of the important in-between stations or cities of this particular railway line. Again, this main objective is to political reason. This constructed because of political reason, in order to unify Western Australia with Eastern Australia. But nowadays, again, this is mostly using for economic reasons. So this is longest railway line in Australia. So here, this particular railway line connects two seaport cities. They are Port Perry and Port Augusta. So these are the two seaports. These two seaports are connected by this railway line in Australia. So these two seaports are located in a gulf. Gulf means a particular water body covered by land on its three sides, opposite to peninsula. So the gulf is called Gulf of Spencer. Here we have two seaports. So these two seaports are connected by this particular railway line, that is Australian Transcontinental Railway Line. So we have finished roadways and railways. Now next we are going to learn about water transport. So what is meant by water transport? So water transport means when the carriage of goods and passengers are done on water bodies such as rivers, lakes, and canals and oceans. These are called water transport. So water transport is further divided into two. There are inland waterways and ocean waterways. So inland means inside the land we have water bodies such as mostly rivers and lakes. So in lakes and rivers, if we navigate on these water bodies, means these are called inland waterways. And next one is open sea waterways. If we navigate on open sea via big vessels, then it is called ocean waterways. So here we are going to learn about some of the important seaways or waterways of the world, ocean waterways of the world. First, we are going to learn about the ocean waterways. So first one is we are going to learn about the North Atlantic Sea route. So this particular red line shows North Atlantic Sea route. This line shows North Atlantic Sea route. This particular line shows North Atlantic Sea route. So why we can say North means, so here we have equator, here we have Atlantic Ocean. So north of equator is called North Atlantic Ocean, south of equator is called South Atlantic Ocean. So because of that, this particular sea route lies at the north of equator. Because of that, it is called uh, North Atlantic Sea route. So this sea route is also called Big Trunk Route. Why means it is the busiest oceanic route of the world. About 25% of the world international trade moves on this route. That means out of 100, 25% of international trade is moving through this sea route. That means there is a maximum number of ships are moving from one place to another place from this sea route. Because of that, this is the big tongue route or the busiest sea route in the world. This particular sea route, North Atlantic Sea route. It links northeastern part of USA, Canada, and Western European countries. So this particular uh, waterway connects two highly developed uh, countries of the world. So the main port from European side are Glasgow, London in England, Rotterdam in Netherlands, and Antwerp in Belgium, Le Havre and Bordeaux in France. So these are the important seaports from this side. So seaports are, we need seaport in order to um, loading for the loading and unloading purposes, storage purposes. Because of that, seaports are very, very necessary. And from this side, important seaports such as uh, Quebec, Montreal in Canada, Boston, New York, and Baltimore in USA. So these are the some of the important seaport from this side. Next, we are going to learn about the Cape of Good Hope Oceanic Route. So this particular ocean waterway connects. So this particular red line shows Cape of Good Hope Oceanic Sea Route. So this particular sea route connects Western European countries, Western African countries. Why crossing? We have Cape Town here. We have seaport. Because of that, it has named as Cape of Good Hope Sea Route, and it also connect with South American countries. So it connect Western European countries, West Africa, while passing through Cape of Good Hope in South Africa to South American countries. So as compared to North Atlantic Sea Route, this sea route is less traffic, means less movement of ships on this particular sea route. Because of that, less traffic on this particular sea route as compared to North Atlantic Sea Route. Because North Atlantic Sea Route, the busiest sea route, maximum number of 25% of international takes place in North Atlantic Sea Route. Next, we are going to learn about the shipping canal. So what is meant by canals? Canals are the man-made way waterway channels. So this is the canal. This canal is made by human being in order to navigate from one place to another place. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about the two important shipping canals in the world. They are Suez and Panama Canal. So Suez Canal. So this particular Suez Canal is constructed in Egypt. So this particular canal is in Egypt. So this is Egypt, map of Egypt. So between two seaport, Port Said and we have Port Suez. So these are the two end seaports of this particular sea route. So why this the canal is this particular canal is constructed in order to connect two water bodies, Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea. So in order to earlier these two water bodies are not connected to one another. So the government of Egypt constructed this particular canal in order to connect Mediterranean Sea with Red Sea. Significance is it reduces the direct sea route from Liverpool to Colombo as compared to Cape of Good Hope oceanic route. So here I have made two lines. This is called this is blue line. This particular blue line shows here we have this Suez Canal is here, Egypt, in Africa, Egypt. So this particular canal is constructed in order to connect Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea here. So before the construction of this canal, if we want to move goods from Liverpool in England to Colombo in Sri Lanka, we have to go through this red lined sea route. So after the construction of this particular canal, it has reduced the direct sea route from Liverpool to Colombo as compared to this red line sea route, Cape of Good Hope sea route. So this is the significance of this particular sea route. It reduced the direct sea route from Western European country in Liverpool in England to Colombo in Sri Lanka. So that is the significance or the importance of this particular canal. So it is a sea level canal. So this particular sea level canal and total length from Port Said to Suez is 160 kilometer and depth is about 11 to 50 meter in depth. About in every day 100 ships move from Port Said to Suez to Port Said, and each ship usually on an average it takes 10 to 12 hours to cross this particular canal from Said to Port Said to Suez and Suez to Said. And again, a navigable river Nile also join in an city to this particular canal. The name of the city is called Islamia in this particular canal. So river Nile also joins in this canal, and this particular river Nile provide fresh water to this canal. Disadvantage is since this canal is constructed by Egypt government, they are charging huge traffic tolls if we want to move from this through this sea route. So because of that, sometimes if the time is not a matter for moving goods from one place to another place, so they are going by old sea route in order to avoid the heavy toll tax from Suez Canal. So this is about the Suez Canal. So the next we are going to learn about the Panama Canal. So this particular canal, Panama Canal, constructed in order to connect Atlantic Ocean in the east and Pacific Ocean in the west. So here we have, this is the map but the route of Panama Canal. So this particular canal is constructed in order to connect Atlantic Ocean east and Pacific Ocean at the west. This particular canal is constructed in Panama. It is constructed across Panama Isthmus. So what is mean by isthmus here? Isthmus is a narrow landmass. That particular narrow landmass divide the two water bodies. So this is narrow landmass. Panama is these are the narrow landmass. So this particular narrow landmass divide the two water bodies, Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean. So that is called isthmus. So this particular canal is constructed across Panama isthmus. We know what is meant by isthmus. Between two cities there are Colon and Panama. So these are the two terminal stations of that particular port. Who built means USA built that particular canal in order to connect eastern coast of USA with western coast of USA. The total length of this particular shipping canal is about 72 kilometer and depth is 13 meter in depth. Width of this capital and this particular canal is 100 to 300, and it has 6 lock system. So lock system means gate system. So since this particular sea canal is not a sea level canal, Because of that, they have made 6 lock system, 3 up and 3 down, in order to pass a ship from Atlantic Ocean to Pacific Ocean at the west, and from Pacific Ocean at the west to Atlantic Ocean at the east. Because of that, they made 6 lock system, because this is not a sea level canal. So it shortened the distance between New York and San Francisco by 13 kilometers as compared to old sea route. So this particular sea route is less economically significant as compared to Suez Canal. So this is the map of this particular red line shows Suez Canal route. Suez Canal route. This is the this yellow line indicates where the Suez Canal is constructed. So this particular canal is constructed in Egypt. So here we have Atlantic Ocean, here we have Pacific Ocean. So in order to connect Atlantic Ocean with Pacific Ocean, we have 6 lock system. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we have 6 lock system in order to move from Atlantic Ocean to Pacific. Up, 3 down. Reverse, 3 up, 3 down. So these are called lock system, also means gear system. So here I have short video. That particular video tries to explain about um, the working system or model of how Panama Canal works. So please have a look at this video clip.
A canal connects two bodies of water that may have different water levels. Ships traveling through the canal move from one water level to another through a lock, a rectangular chamber with watertight gates at each end. In the lock, the level of water can be raised and lowered by a system of valves and water passages. Suppose a ship is traveling from the higher water level to the lower. First, an operator at a nearby station opens the lock gates at the high end. The ship enters the lock, and the lock gates are closed. Next, the lock operator opens one or more valves so that water from the lock slowly drains into the lower section of the canal. When the water in the lock is level with the lower water, the operator opens the gates and the ship sails through. To move a ship upstream, the procedure is reversed.
Thank you.